Hello and welcome, my league building leafs. So, for some of you, this might be the dream. Building your own Pokemon League. Wouldn't that sound cool? And also like a good idea for a game? And I have an idea how that game might look. It's not very graphic because you are basically kind of in a management sim with my idea. Maybe only or mostly seeing the map screen only. But, well, I would play it, definitely. So, yeah, let me know if you would too. But now let's get into what this game would look like. So, first off, game modes. I think the main game mode should be you need to create a league that is popular. That means a lot of things we will get into throughout it. But I think there could also be different game modes, like building a league that is hard, or building a league that is centered around a certain theme or something. But this is for that main game mode thingy of a popular Pokemon League. So, what about money though? Because just building it without any limits? Nah, that won't make a good game, right? Money will be earned by the trainers you set on their journey, buying stuff from Pokemarkets and other things. All that. You have to build these markets, of course, and stock them and all. So what they can buy depends on what you give those markets. Mainly you have to invest money to make money. But not that easy, because not only do you have to invest money in the shops and stuff for people being able to buy stuff, you also have to build a Pokemon League that makes the trainers even reach those stores and have enough money to buy stuff. So there's definitely that aspect as well. So yeah, think about what you're doing, which is typical for games like these, I guess. Once you start a new league, the first thing you have to do is choose your map, obviously. You will have randomly generated maps, but I think you aren't just stuck with the one map the game gives you, but you can select from a selection of maybe 10 or 12 different maps. If you don't like any of those maps, you would have to restart, obviously, but yeah, with that amount of randomly generated maps, you probably will find something that fits. It will be balanced, don't worry, because it's just not completely random. The landmass will be connected, there will be some islands, and there will be water. Though it could be like 20% water on the map, or maybe even 60% water on the map. Just not like 80% is water, that wouldn't make any sense. It's a certain balance, and you do have to have a certain amount of water and landmass, obviously. And that's how the maps will be generated for this. And thus starts the game's first phase, the mapping phase. First off, you decide where each town should go. You need to have at least 10 towns. The starting town, 8 for the gyms, and the town right before the Elite Four. You can add more though, albeit that also would cost more money and stuff. Then you also set routes between them, because you have to get from one city to another, obviously. Some dungeons like caves, forests and stuff, to get more variety of Pokemon in that. You basically draw a map. But you can also zoom in on the towns of the map you have built. There are two ways to go about that though. Because when you go into a town and build it yourself, you take a building from your pool of buildings, place it. If it's a Pokemon Center, it fulfills the Pokemon Center needs. If it's a shop, you have to put on a list of what they sell there. And, well, houses for the usual residents of a town, they are just shapes. You don't do anything with those. But they can have the addition of someone getting a gift Pokemon there, maybe. Like an Eevee in Bill's house. You won't have Bill's house specifically, but you can do stuff like that to random houses like that. Thus, creating a unique town and a chance for your trainer to get a nice Pokemon for their team, making the league either easier or harder, depending on what you do. Of course, each of those houses will cost money, and it might be quite a lot of work to do that for 10 or upwards amount of towns. Thus, you can also let the AI handle that for you, especially for a beginning run. That makes it just easier and a bit quicker, so yeah. But even if you let the AI do it, you can still go into that town and tweak the things a bit. So if you're fine with the placement, but the shops should sell a different kind of item or something, you can change that still. It just takes the bulk of the building part for you. Personally, that would be probably the most fun I would have with this game, so I wouldn't use the AI, but thinking about the general audience might be a good idea to include that. And with that done, we get into the next phase, the hiring phase. This is very important because if you want a league built, you need a certain amount of people in there. That amount is 10. That amount is not 10. It's more than 10. It's 13. Why did I come up with 10? First off, you of course have to have gym leaders. The gym leaders, well, the options you have depend on the popularity. So if you become more popular, you can hire different gym leaders. But there's a random pool you can choose from over 100 characters, I would say, to have options. And, of course, as gym leaders do, they come with a type specialty. The complete same goes for the Elite Four as well. So I bunk them together. With these 12 trainers, you have to keep one thing in mind though. They are all specialized in a certain type. And you cannot have the same type twice. So, no, you cannot build a rock-only league. Yeah, it takes away a bit of freedom, granted. But I think doing that just makes it more, well, realistic, akin to what an actual Pokemon game would look like, where you don't get double typings in the gym leaders and Elite Four. So, yeah, maybe there will be a completely free mode where you could do that. But in the main, well, story mode? There's no real story to this, but you get what I mean. I think that's a good choice. And, well, you also have to have a professor, right? Now, the professors are a bit more special. What they do is determine the starters your trainers can set their journey off with. These will be out of a pool of all the starters, from Bulbasaur to Fuecoco. They have to be grass, fire and water, of course. But you could have a league where your grass starter is Bulbasaur and the professor brings Torchic as the fire starter, and for the water starter it's Oshawott. It could be like that. It doesn't have to be the starter trio from a certain region, but it will be a starter trio of grass, fire and water. They do need teams though, the gym leaders and the Elite Four members, which limit you a bit because you set the order, and the first gym leader, for example, can only go up to level 16 Pokemon at most. Keep in mind, the further away it is from the starting town, the higher the level is feasible, but if it's like the second town after the starting town, trainers probably won't be able to beat a level 16 Pokemon. And basically, mostly only first stage Pokemon are available to give that gym leader. But yeah, depending on the number, those levels and the Pokemon you can choose from change. They just have to be of a certain type, and other than that, and legendaries and mythicals and stuff like that, you can technically take every Pokemon onto their teams. The Elite Four members, of course, don't have that limitation, really. Just the levels can go up to, I don't know, 60 or something. Also, of course, the amount of Pokemon they can have changes. The first gym leader can have up to 3 Pokemon, while the Elite Four can have up to 6 Pokemon. It's just how it typically goes. Though I don't know a case where first gym leader actually has 3 Pokemon. I know a lot of cases where they should have, though. So I want to get the number a bit higher. And then you have hiring phase part B, because you also need a champ. The champs team can be mixed. There's no type specialty in that. And yeah, just make him strong, but not too strong, I guess. Then comes the wild Pokemon phase, because trainers have to be able to catch Pokemon, of course. How else would they defeat the league? It's not a single run here. Yeah, this is basically, you have a pool out of every Pokemon that exists, minus legendaries and stuff, again, of course. And you can put them on the routes and in the dungeons and stuff, just with the limitation of they have to fit there. So, no fire types in a forest, because why would a fire type live in a forest, right? With maybe a few exceptions, because there might be Pokemon that would fit there. But each Pokemon basically has a biome they can be encountered in. Then you, of course, set the levels for that. Keep in mind, it shouldn't be too high in the beginning and not too low in the end, because you don't want to make the league boring, but also not too challenging. And off you go. Definitely, you can also determine the easiness or hardness of your league by the placement. Imagine this. The first gym leader you have is a flying type specialist. Okay, cool. Now, if you put a place like a cave before that city, where you can find rock types, or even make it able to encounter electric types, that will make the first gym leader significantly easier. If you can only encounter bug types, though, it will make it significantly harder. That will all be taken into account. And finally, we are at the final main phase, the trial phase. This is where you choose the trainers you set out on their journey. You can choose between a pool of different trainers here. 10 at most, but you have to think about it. You have to pay for their starter, because that starter needs to exist. And also, you have to give them some beginning funds, so they do cost money. That's not really like it works in the games, but we need a gameplay loop here, and yeah, you need to invest money into these trainers for them to make you money. That's how it works. So, while you could go for 10 trainers at max at the same time that's set out, you shouldn't do that in the beginning trial runs, I would say. There's one more thing to keep in mind when it comes to these trainers that set out on their journey through your region. They come in different classes. There might be stuff like type specialists that only or mainly use one type, depending on how much of that type they can find. Then there are also things like the strategist, who always tries to get Pokemon that are super effective against the next gym leader he faces. Though that also means his Pokemon are usually at a bit of a lower level and he cannot progress as fast because of that. Because he has to train a new team every time. And other classes, I keep that to your imagination what there could be in that game. The goal is for each trainer to go through a journey in the time span of 1 year. After that year, their journey will be over and you have to either rehire them so that they start again over with a new starter, fresh team, or new trainers, stuff like that. But throughout the year, you can see what those trainers actually do. Of course, there will be a fast forward button and stuff. But there will also be a rewind button, so if you want to see a certain event again, you can rewind to that event, but of course nothing will change. It will still go as it was before. And yeah, you can see what they catch, how successful they are, how many tries they need against each gym leader, where they struggle to progress, where other trainers on the routes made it hard for them to progress, so that you can take that data and refine your league based on it. Of course, after that year, you just do whatever you want to do to your region to make it more popular. And that popularity is key, because what you want to collect, besides money, because that you will also get at the end of the year, are the popularity points. Now, even if a trainer does not finish your league, they might still have had a lot of fun, because you made the routes interesting when it comes to the Pokemon they can find there and stuff. It's a bit of a random thing about how each trainer you send out feels about it, but the points you get are based on that. That and how easy your league was. If it was too easy and they could beat it without even really putting in much effort, they wouldn't have much fun, thus you gain less popularity points. If you make it too hard and they even struggle at the first gym leader, they get frustrated, thus you get least popularity points. So aim for the highest amount of popularity points. This is a score-based game in the end. Also, you have online leaderboards for those popularity points, and you can share that around. You can share your region with others, thus also downloading other people's region to see what they have done and tweak their regions if you want to. All that stuff. We need that kind of multiplayer thing going as well. Of course, a real multiplayer wouldn't work in this for obvious reasons. So yeah. After all that is done, you just start over with your region, refining it, or start a completely new region if you want to, even though you have to go by the original funds when you restart. All that stuff. There will be several saves for more than one region. You can have more than one. Don't worry. Now, what are your thoughts on this idea? Would you buy Pokemon Builders, as I named it? I definitely would. Tell me in the comments below what your opinion on it is. Also, don't forget to build your own region by clicking the like and subscribe button, as well as that little bell, to keep updated whenever I upload a new video for you. And check out the links down in the description below, leading to my Twitter, Instagram, and Discord, where I post stuff, keep you updated, all the good things. To my Humble Bundle affiliate link, to my merch store as well, and to my Twitch, where I livestream every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I hope to see you over there as well, and until next time, bye-bye!